Hey guys, it's David from theunlocker.com. Today we're going to show you an Android 2.2 Froyo overview. We're going to show you all the little things that Google has added into Android 2.2. If you already have 2.2 on your Nexus or some other phone, you'll be familiar with most of these. There might be a few that you don't know about. And otherwise, if you're waiting for 2.2, here's a quick overview to show you all the things you can expect. If you're not already there, head over to theunlocker.com, spelled like that in the address bar at the top, and then search for our Android 2.2 Froyo overview. Okay, so first we'll go over some of the things that Google has listed on their Android Froyo site, and then we'll go into a few things that you might not have noticed. Okay, now natively in Android they've added a new app, or a new widget, called the Home Screen Tips widget. Well, Android, that when you click on this, it tells you new stuff about Android, how to use it, etc. Not a big deal to most of us, but something that they added. Next thing you'll notice, and usually the first thing you notice, is these three new launcher buttons. Well, two new ones and one that we've always had. Now here at the bottom, instead of just having a launcher for your apps, which still exists, we also have a call button on the left, which brings you into your dialer pad, which you can also get to your call log, your contacts, your favorites, etc. And then over here on the right we have a button to automatically launch the internet. I personally like that they've added these down here. I feel like they're kind of what you use the phone mostly for, and they're stuff that you would need quick access to. I actually used to have the dialer button as an app right there, and the browser as an app right there. So now it at least gets rid of those, and now they're constantly down there at the bottom, regardless of what home screen you're on. Android 2.2 added a few exchange features. Now it has auto setup, so you just kind of put in your email address and your password, and it will attempt to automatically set up your Exchange server, so you don't need to put your server settings in it, which is kind of nice. If it can't figure it out on its own, then it gives you the option to put in the server settings. Also, we have Exchange calendar support. So now you can go into the calendar app and set up an Exchange account, and it will sync the calendar into that as well. And then another thing, for safety reasons, they've put a remote wipe. So now people with Exchange servers can actually send a command to the phone to remotely wipe it in case it gets lost or stolen, etc., and the company doesn't want their information getting into the wrong hands. They've also added a feature into the gallery where now you can multi-touch to zoom into these galleries that you have, the different albums, and so you can kind of scan through them and see what they're about. Pull them backwards, pull them this way. So, little aesthetic feature they added. In the camera itself, they've taken away the pull away settings on the side here, and they've just put them directly right here. They added a bunch of settings too, exposures, focus modes. You can flick through all this, different pixels, negative, your locations, white balance, flash on and off. This is kind of cool. They added a zoom, which they didn't have before. So you can actually zoom. It only zooms up to 2 times, but still it's an improvement over not having any zoom. Okay, next is a feature that I'm pretty sure you're not going to see on a lot of phones. It's Wi-Fi tethering. Now it does come on Nexus 1s because they're Google phones and they're not technically controlled by the carriers, etc. But Android 2.2 phones, I have a feeling that when they're on a carrier, like they're an AT&T phone, a T-Mobile phone, Verizon, etc., this feature will probably be missing, or they'll charge you for it. As opposed to with the Nexus 1, it's completely free. So click on wireless and network settings. You'll notice down here at the bottom, we have tethering and portable hotspot. When you tap on this, now you can tap portable Wi-Fi hotspot. It'll automatically project a Wi-Fi signal that any laptop or any other device can connect to, and you can use the phone's 3G internet. USB tethering is the same concept, except plug directly in. If for whatever reason your device doesn't have Wi-Fi but has a USB cord, you can use that instead. Okay, another feature for our multilingual users. If you go into language and keyboard, Android keyboard, you can change input languages and add, say, Spanish, French, etc. And now when you're typing in here, you notice that your different suggestions change here. You'll see it says Spanish. I can switch to French. Right? And again, they change in there as well. So that's kind of cool. There's been a bunch of performance tweaks that have been added to Android 2.2. One of them being the performance of the browser has been enhanced using a V8 engine. What it does is it enables a faster loading of JavaScript-heavy pages like Facebook. We'll go to our site as a real JavaScript-heavy page. This page usually takes a long time to load on pretty much anything. So that's pretty quick, considering it loaded the entire page almost instantly. Not too bad. Now, because of the Dalvik JIT, there's been a performance boost for CPU-heavy stuff. According to the Android site, it's about 2 to 5 times performance speed up over Android 2.1, which is already pretty quick. So we'll use something that's CPU-heavy, like Google Earth. Loaded super fast. This thing moves pretty smoothly, which is nice. So now switching through apps, and some RAM has been reclaimed thanks to a kernel memory management boost. It's supposed to improve memory reclaim by about 20 times. So what that means is we can do stuff like switch between apps pretty quickly. Not too bad. Okay, so they've also given apps a little more abilities. Apps can now send information to the Google server and have it send the info to the phone. This can wake up the phone, even load information that they want onto the phone. So for example, using like Google Maps, they show how a developer is able to load his own stuff through that directly onto the phone. Like sending, using Google Maps to get directions somewhere on his computer and then sending that information directly to the phone and having the phone pop it up automatically. May not seem like much, but it does give developers a little more leeway with stuff that they can do, so that's kind of cool. Apps can also back up their own settings for users. So when a user either switches phones, uninstalls, reinstalls an app, switches ROMs in our case, all the settings and all the data from that app can be automatically restored to the phone. Okay, another big enhancement that everybody's kind of been waiting for is the introduction of Flash into the browser. You can see some Flash ads playing there, but we'll click on a Flash game. So you can see how they implemented the controls. Popped up an advertisement, get rid of that, and the game should load.
Another game from vlog.com.
Okay, so you tap the Flash object to now be able to control inside of it. So I'm going to start. And in this game you take planes and you try to land them on the runways. So I can do that. And there you go. You notice it runs pretty smooth. The controls are pretty intuitive, so it's not too bad. I can even pause it. It even has its sounds. That's that. Okay, now another improvement has been in the market. If you have multiple apps when you're in your downloads that need to be updated, there is now an Update All button located at the top. I only have one app, so it's not showing it. But normally you click that, it'll update everything at once, which is a nice addition they didn't have in 2.1. That's kind of necessary. Another feature is Auto Update. You can click on to an app, and you can check off Allow Automatic Updating. And then this way it won't ever prompt you for an update. It'll just automatically download it. You'll just notice when you wake up in the morning that it says these apps have been updated. So that's kind of cool as well. Also in the market, but more for developers, there's a new reporting service that lets developers know of any crashes that the app may encounter. So if the app crashes, it sends information to the developer so he can see what caused the crash, etc., in an effort to try to make apps better. Okay, besides those major things that have been added, there's a few little things that most people didn't notice that are kind of cool. For example, one is in the call history. It now compresses people so that they can, like for example, if I talk to her more than one time, it's going to compress her together so that this way it doesn't take up as much room. Okay, another lesser known improvement to the camera app, which was always something that bothered me with Android 2.1, was when you tap the thumbnail for the last picture taken, now it actually takes you into the gallery app. As opposed to before, when you tapped it, it brought you to the picture within the camera app, which is just not as cool, didn't take up the whole screen, it was like a little tiny part of the screen, like that big. So that's a nice improvement. The search widget that we're all familiar with up here at the top now has the option to tap it to choose between search the entire phone, search the web, search apps, and search contacts. Another little improvement, the messaging app has been improved so that it looks a little cleaner. Instead of having a black and a white situation going on, it has these like shades of gray and bright white to show you things that are unread. It just looks cleaner, looks a little nicer. Okay, the calendar app now also has a line to show you what time of day it is right now. So if you have appointments, it'll show you how far into them you are. Just a little tiny polishing thing they've done. Okay, another little thing that used to bother me is in the messaging app, when you're inside a message, if you used to hit back, it would actually take you back to your home screen. Then you would have to click the messaging app again to get to all of your conversations. They fixed that, so now when you hit back, it takes you to all of your conversations instead of having to go through that whole ordeal. Another improvement often overlooked, multitasking. When you hold down home, now shows you the 8 most recent apps, and they're all running at the same time, as opposed to it used to just show 6. So now you can have more multitasking, which is nice. Okay, and that's it for a quick little overview of Android 2.2. Show you guys what you can look forward to if you don't already have it, and maybe showed you a few things you didn't really realize that you had if you already do have it. So enjoy it.